While you watch us get our average riding on, this is a semi-concise summary of the Libtech Orca. I guess we're technically the same species as Travis, but his boards never made us feel like we were. They just don't like to turn. However, this somewhat short, wide, tapered, directional, easy turning, semi-buttery, slashy, forgiving board works really well for us. In fact, I've owned a 153 in the past and now own a 150. We're not that into the loose feel underfoot when one-footing or flat basing in harder conditions, but it skids turns easy, and once the edge is set, it grips like a champ. It doesn't have that bucky, bouncy feel that many shorter, wider boards have on uneven terrain, which is pretty cool. While we have had more pleasure carving with lots of C3 camber boards like the Rocket, this does really well for a C2 board. Even though its edges can be grabby and soft to wet snow, it has a very set back, easy floating ride in powder that's way better than any other T.Rice model. This still has that aggressive, straight line kind of Travis personality to it, but for the first time it also works with us mellow riding mortals. This is especially great for those that see hard to icy snow, but want to be ready for those deep days. The only drawback is, it's so popular, you might find yourself skating up to an Orca pod in the lift line and feel like you haven't made an original choice. And now, I'll take you back to the in-depth review on snow.
And let's get into the sizing. I feel kind of in between 50 and 53. I think if I had to make a choice, I might go 53, but I love how quick and how easy this is to ride at 50. So, felt like it could handle my weight though.
I feel in between 32 and 33, but you are aging rapidly. As far as boards go, the sizing, honestly, you know, trying some 50s yesterday, and I was just like, this feels not fun, you know? There are a lot of 50s they make like short and fat or whatever that I don't necessarily love. I got on this board today immediately, and you know, it's pretty hard conditions out there, but still fun. And this board felt great underneath my feet. Although I haven't tried the 53, I could see how I would also love the 53 a lot.
It's a little more powerful though.
Yeah.
But even Jimbo could handle this with his 11s.
Definitely.
Weight-wise, it was right from 185 to 160, right?
This thing was really fun to get over onto its edges for me. Yeah, for my boots. It took a lot to get my boots to the snow.
Good. This,
I'm just gonna buy this
Camber profile, this C2, XC2 kind of ish, I think it's C2, hybrid rocker, basically rocker between the feet, going to camber and the tip and tail. I mean, but still not touching all the way down. It's
rises off
it's
the
a
table
very
when you're in the middle.
forgiving feel. Even though this Orca is stiff and kind of aggressive, it skids turns very easily. You can get off your game with this and recover. Where if you're on the Fun Boy or C3 boards from Mervin, like we were just comparing it against, you'll find that those are much more locked in, much more technical, and much more unforgiving when it comes to skidding out of turn for those beginner intermediate
compared
riders.
to this.
This is way more aggressive.
Those are still more forgiving than like a full camber.
Well said.
Yeah.
And then also though, like if you're ridden other C2 boards like T.Rice or the Rider's Choice or something like that, and you come to this, you'll be like, whoa, this is pretty aggressive for hybrid rocker. But all in all, pretty good. Now flex, it's got a little bit of that bend in the middle, but overall it's very medium stiff. But it was easy to butter, especially coming off of like a lot of full, stiff camber rides we've been riding. Coming to this, you're like, wow, this gives you that cheater bend in the middle, and it really breaks open and lets you butter off the nose and tail pretty well.
Yeah.
But it also has just lots of pop and drive, very easy to ollie.
Yeah. Lots of pop.
Compared to when you see how it bends, you're like, the spring's really.
Yeah, it's a poppy.
Really well
it's a poppy boy. When you get into speed and uneven snow and chatter and that kind of thing, I was surprised at how damp it was because Mervin boards have these kind of like, they accentuate the wood core in their design. It seems like they really enhance that woody feel, And sometimes that can make it kind of ultra poppy and a little too, like, not that damp. This had some dampness at speed. For a 150, I was pointing this thing.
Yep.
And it's not, as Peter says, Bucky Lassick.
It's not. My classic.
It has a little of that C2 vibration.
Yeah.
That little
But
clown
it's a
shooty
good
thing.
vibration.
But it didn't pass up into my
such a
body like
sweet
I thought it
sensation.
would.
No.
I've ridden this 53 in a little uneven terrain, and I felt like it could bust through chunder and power over stuff pretty well. What'd you think?
Through the crispy and variables on the sides of the trails, and over the ski trail.
If you hit a mini death cookie patch,
Yeah, if
it's
you're in
not
the
going to
little
be the end of the world.
And
Chicken
especially
head field or
especially
some
compared
ski
to
ruts,
a lot of other 50s that I've ridden.
snowboard ruts.
Yeah.
This one definitely had a stable feel in kind of that harder chundery snow.
Or if you go over like the groomer inconsistencies, let's call them occasionally, like
Yeah, and
Humming
this
and
edge
humming it.
hold is exceptional.
Surprising.
It's very aggressive magnet traction, and for C2 hybrid rocker, it really holds well. This is the kind of board that you want on hard to icy snow. The on snow feel, like we forgot to touch on, it's loose. It wants to auto spin on you.
Yeah.
But once you get it on edge, it holds an amazing edge. So if you're out in hard snow, yeah, it's gonna be a little weird on a flat cat track, but as long as you keep it on edge, it's gonna grip better than anything you'll ever see.
you're one footing occasionally.
Yeah.
So I put my feet close together when I'm one footing sometimes.
If you're doing a big old chicken air and you just land, you better lock yourself down.
And turn initiation. Oh my gosh, this thing was super fast.
Yep.
I would
Quick edge to
say
edge.
medium fast. You would not believe the waist width is what it is. The width is what it
Based
is
on what you
with
got
the
out of
way
those
it
turns.
turns.
Yeah.
It seems like some of that rocker in the middle helps you get over faster, helps you transition quickly from edge to edge. But as I got into wider radius turns and then started getting into carves, I was pretty surprised at how much, like coming off the Fun Boy to this, it really needed a lot more back foot weight to keep the tail from washing. And I felt like I was in an adjustment period where I have on the 53 gone out all day and just carved and had fun. But it was amazing coming from full camber how much this washed on the tail. Hey Stu. He's always photobombing us. What'd you guys think?
I honestly didn't wash out my tail very much. And especially compared to boards yesterday, I felt very locked in on my wide radius turns, but it was the first board I was trying. So it's different when you like go to other boards, and then you're like, oh, where can I like push it a little more? I was like kind of staying more in my comfort zone when I was doing my big radius turns for the first ride of the day.
I felt like if I wanted to carve a short fat, I'd get the Fun Boy. But
This was the third board I got to ride out of the fleet, and I had an absolute blast on it.
You were dropping like butt scratching.
butt scratchers.
Butt scratchers.
Butt scratchers.
Yeah.
Butt
And I haven't done that in a while, so
Yeah.
the glow of my Merkaba field changed slightly. You know what that is, gentle readers.
no.
In a positive direction.
Good,
You know how
good.
to read the Merkaba field.
Yeah.
But powder, this has a decent amount of setback on side cut as well as board, and there is good directional float for a board this size. And even though it's a gripper, might grab a little bit in the softer snow, it can float, and it's a floater for its size. Yeah, there you have it.
You're like, man, that's not that big in the toilet, but it takes 2 flushes.
This guy.
It's a floater.
I would ride it again.
Floats for its size. The good ride, where sometimes we put a Peter in the middle.